All right, guys, welcome to another video. So if you missed the last video, we were comparing some vocal samples recorded into a Neumann UA7, into the Neve 1073 preamp, into the Burl mothership, into Pro Tools, and we are comparing them to a real 1176 from UA versus the plug-in version of the Blackface 76. And we're going to do the same exact thing now, except with EQ. So Zachy right here has the raw stems that we worked with, my terrible voiceover, and Greg's more excellent vocal. And we're now going to compare a real Pultec EQP1A EQ versus the plug-in equivalent, which Zachy has in the other studio, because this computer is actually for someone else. We don't have the Pultec emulator on this, so we have it in his other room. So what we're going to do is we're going to print the Pultec EQ onto this and then transfer it over to his main computer where we have the Pultec emulator and compare it there.
So I think for the sake of this the test, we should just dial it into the raw signal here, dialed in to the best of our ability, then try to mimic the same settings on the raw signal in the other room. And
before you guys comment saying, "Oh my God, you're doing it in two different rooms," Zachy's room is EQ corrected and stuff. So we'll get an accurate result in there.
We have the speakers tuned in that room, but more than that, we're going to be working off the raw signal anyways. So it's going to be an exact representation. You'll hear the raw signal over there and the process signal over there. So
I'll let Zachy do his thing. Let's move
let's just dial in.
Let's move the very expensive Neumann out of the way so none of us accidentally trip into it. Wouldn't want that.
Dial it in. Everything's turned down at the moment.
All right, so I'm going to basically work as a glorified button pusher here, and Zachy's going to dial in using the Pultec.
Dude, it sounds nice. Go for it.
Sally sells seashells by the seashore so Polly can bake cupcakes by the dam while watching the best audio YouTube channel around, Chris Hamill Audio. Please support Zachy Ali.
Jeez.
And then again.
It sounds crazy.
Again.
Sally sells seashells by the seashore so Polly can bake cupcakes by the dam while watching the best audio YouTube channel around, Chris Hamill Audio. Please support Zachy Ali.
Oh, man.
One
incredible. I think it sounds pretty damn good. Honestly, the tube EQs, man, there's something... Cause
like, even just sitting right here, that sounds pretty sick.
Yeah. It's similar to what I was saying about the 1176, or it almost adds that like vocal fry sort of characteristic in a really nice way.
All right, so let's take a look at what settings you got here. You want to go over what settings you have?
Yep,
We're focused on this guy right here.
Basically got... the Q adjusted to slightly less than sharp or more than sharp, so it's like more open. But then at 100, I'm attenuating 3, a little more than 3, and boosting a little less than 3. For the highs, I got a boost of 6 at 12K.
Now for the people who aren't aware, this switch is affecting both of these. So he's boosting less than 3 and also attenuating that same frequency around 3. So that's what these do.
And then for the highs, where you have this frequency boost selected at 12, so we're boosting at 12, 6 decibels. Then we're attenuating at 10. So we're actually
that's 10K, guys. That's what he means by that.
Yeah, and so between 3 and 4, 4 decibels of attenuation.
Now, for those of you who do not know, what does the bandwidth mean?
So bandwidth just adjusts the quotient, essentially, like how sharp and wide is the boost and attenuation.
Okay. So it's like a Q.
Right.
Okay. All right. So we got this printed. Let's transfer it over to the other studio where we can mess with the plug-in version. But first, we need to do the same thing again to Greg's vocals.
Need to define, write your own storyline, and you need to refine who we are. Choice is us. I know you're waiting. I know you're waiting. I know you're waiting for something more. Waiting for something more.
Oh, wow.
one more just for safety measure.
Need to define, write your own storyline, and you need to refine who we are. Choice is us.
Nice.
I know you're waiting. I know you're waiting. I know you're waiting for something more. Waiting for something more.
All right, so
Discuss what we did here.
yeah, let's. What did you do for Greg's vocal?
So we switched this 100 to 60 and attenuated more, so between 4 and 5 decibels. We adjusted the bandwidth a little bit. Boost a little bit at 3. It added a nice... The reason why I went to 60 is it was more low and less of like the low-mid boxy frequency. And then we did something completely different in the highs, which was interesting. So the boost frequency is now 10K, and it's boosted almost 6 a little more
a little
than 6.
over 6.
Yep, and then the attenuation
Is 20.
I put it at 20. And I was actually experimenting. I thought Greg's, the reason why I chose these settings was because of Greg's vocal characteristics, or the characteristics of his vocal capture, should I say, because it was resonating, certain... I might want to boost something else on a different vocalist, but I think it also comes down to the context of the mix you're doing and like how you want it to like sit in the mix. This is just listening to it raw, and I thought brought out the right characteristics in his vocals without any of the compression or anything. So I also think that if I were to feed this setting into, say, an 1176, that it would favor how the 1176 is reacting to the signal, in a sense where like clear up some of those low mids so that you get more of the clarity and the shine of the saturation of the 1176.
So why don't we do that right now then? Let's run, since we have this printed for the EQ, why don't we run the EQ print through the 1176? Okay, so what we're doing right now is, this is the EQ print on the real Pultec, and this is now going to go through the real 1176. So we're going to get a real Pultec and a real 76 to this vocal print here. That's what we're doing with both of these
we're running
prints.
the same settings we were running on the previous video for the 1176. So if you need that, but I guess we could check that out and review it as well. So this is the first one.
Sally sells seashells by the seashore so Polly can bake cupcakes by the dam while watching the best audio YouTube channel around, Chris Hamill Audio. Please support Zaki Ali.
So there's my crappy voiceover. Now let's go to Greg's more excellent vocal.
Sounds nice and crisp. Yeah, Greg's vocal through the...
Sounds like a radio promo. Sounds like I may have done that once or twice in my life. All right, so this is Greg's vocal from the real Pultec, now going into the real 76.
I think what I had selected on this Pultec settings was more favored to do what we're about to do.
Yep.
For Greg's
because this
vocals.
is a singing performance vocal.
Need to define, write your own storyline, and you need to refine who we are. Choice is us. I know you're waiting. I know you're waiting. I know you're waiting for something more. Waiting for something more.
So that is the vocal print from the Pultec to the real 1176, real Pultec to real 76. Now what I'm excited for is to see how this compares to the plug-in version of the same EQ and the same compressor in the same order. So we're going to do a Pultec EQ first, and then we're going to get 1176 plug-in, and then we're going to do the same thing. Zaki's plug-in version of the Pultec and stock Pro Tools 1176 versus the UA Pultec UA76 plugin versus the Slate Pultec and the Slate 76. So we'll have tons of comparisons for you guys. All right, so now we're back in Zaki's main studio where he does pretty much all of his mixing. So you guys have seen this hybrid setup before, so we're not going to worry about any of this gear tonight. We are focused solely on the real Pultec and 1176 in comparison to the plug-in equivalents of it. So, Zach, take it away.
Yep. So here's the raw recording we had from the
Sally sells seashells by the seashore so Polly can bake cupcakes by the dam while watching the best audio YouTube channel around, Chris Hamill Audio. Please support Zaki Ali.
So that's the raw.
Nice.
And this is the...
With the Pultec EQ.
Sally sells seashells by the seashore so Polly can bake cupcakes by the dam while watching the best audio YouTube channel around, Chris Hamill Audio. Please support Zaki Ali.
That's a
It just sounds
difference.
like pleasing to the ear. Like I don't know how
It's
to
very
explain
pleasing
that.
sounding.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to see if we can get the raw sounding. Let's not use the same exact settings because I think we've pretty much proven that the same exact settings won't work. So
It's completely
use
different.
your best judgment to get the best sound.
So here it is, exactly. I mean,
so this is the Waves Jack Joseph.
Pultec instead of Pultec, they call it Pultec.
So this is the Waves Pultec.
EQP1A.
This is the Waves Pultec.
Yep.
All right. So to Zaki's best ability, he's going to try to match the real Pultec versus the plug-in.
Do the boost at 12, attenuation at 10. This was at 100. Let's see what happens.
Sally sells seashells by the seashore so Polly can bake cupcakes by the dam. Sally sells seashells by the seashore so Polly can bake cupcakes by the dam while watching the best audio YouTube channel around, Chris Hamill. Sally sells seashells by the seashore so Polly can bake cupcakes by the dam while watching the best audio YouTube channel around, Chris Hamill Audio. Please support Zaki Ali.
That's basically the same setting I had.
Roughly.
Yeah.
Sally sells seashells by the seashore so Polly can bake cupcakes by the dam.
So another thing to notice is the signal would come out of the actual Pultec a little quieter. Just I feel like as a result of running through the tubes.
Yeah.
And so that had a different. That was a noticeable difference in characteristic between the plugin and the actual unit.
Sally sells seashells by the seashore so
This is essentially like what I had set on the other EQ. On the actual EQ. So
it's very similar in that sense. At least the
Yeah.
Waves version of this is.
yeah, this is exactly what was set on the other one. So
Sally sells seashells by the seashore so
that's the plugin.
Sally sells seashells by the
Well, here I could turn this up to normal volume now.
Sally sells seashells by the seashore.
That was the real one.
Sally sells seashells by the seashore.
That's very different. Also.
That's different.
Sally sells seashells by the seashore. Sally sells seashells by the seashore so Polly can bake cupcakes by the dam.
Even if I really
Sally sells seashells by the seashore.
I think to even imitate what was happening on the real one, I have to boost a lot more on this.
And I think the low end too. I think the low end's a little thinner sounding on the plug-in versus the real one.
Yeah. And I can try boosting the low a little bit more even.
Sally sells seashells by the seashore so Polly can bake cupcakes by the dam while watching the best audio YouTube channel around, Chris Hamill Audio.
Okay, so there's some serious boosts going on now.
Sally sells seashells by the seashore.
Like
so
immediately
Polly
I can tell.
There's a difference in the harshness of it. Like
the
real one
I
just
could tell.
softens it.
The real one, it's so smooth. It's much smoother sounding than at least the Waves version of this Pultec.
Yeah, and these are like extreme settings now to compensate for not, basically to make up for what it wasn't adding to the raw signal.
Sally sells seashells by the seashore so Polly can bake cupcakes by the dam while watching the best audio YouTube channel around, Chris Hamill Audio. Please support Zaki Ali. Sally sells seashells by the seashore so Polly can bake cupcakes by the dam while watching the best audio YouTube channel around, Chris Hamill Audio. Please support Zaki Ali. Sally sells seashells by the seashore so Polly can bake cupcakes by the dam while watching the best audio YouTube channel around, Chris Hamill Audio. Please support Zaki Ali. Sally sells seashells by the seashore so Polly can bake cupcakes by the dam while watching the best audio YouTube channel around, Chris Hamill Audio. Please support Zaki Ali.
Need to define, write your own storyline, and you need to refine who we are. Choice is us. I know you're waiting. I know you're waiting. I know you're waiting for something more. Waiting for something more. Need to define, write your own storyline, and you need to refine who we are. Choice is us. I know you're waiting. I know you're waiting. I know you're waiting for something more. Waiting for something more. Need to define, write your own storyline, and you need to refine who we are. Choice is us. I know you're waiting. I know you're waiting. I know you're waiting for something more. Waiting for something more.
What we did after, we ran that Pultec signal, the one, and then we fed it through the 1176. So why don't we hear that version? So this is through the Pultec, then the real 1176.
Sally sells seashells by the seashore so Polly can bake cupcakes by the dam while watching the best audio YouTube channel around, Chris Hamill Audio. Please support Zaki Ali.
Nice. Smooth.
Those vocals.
It just sounds really smooth, and you can almost hear the analog hiss with it too. That's crazy.
Yeah. And so if I go to the Pultec plugin and then I put a 1176 after it,
and to your best of your ability, get it sounding like as good as you possibly can with it.
Yeah.
Sally sells.
Oh wow! Serious.
Might want to solo that.
Yeah.
Sally sells seashells by the seashore so Polly can bake cupcakes by the dam while watching the best audio YouTube channel around, Chris Hamill Audio.
This is pretty much, we had it at 5 and released it at 6.
For that, I think it was around like 6-ish.
Yep.
Sally sells seashells by the seashore so Polly can bake cupcakes by the dam while watching the best audio YouTube channel around, Chris Hamill Audio. Sally sells seashells by the seashore so Polly can bake cupcakes by the dam while watching the best audio YouTube channel around, Chris Hamill Audio. Please support Zaki Ali.
Okay, so I'm definitely eating crow on this because there is a clear difference between the real things and the plugins.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of,
at least with these digital equivalents. I can't wait to mess with this in my personal setup and just like literally go through the UA version of these, but like something tells me I'm going to get pretty much the same results with this on my end.
Yeah, I mean, it just
doesn't sound like a real thing.
How plugins work, you know, it's a replica of the real thing, essentially. I mean, these are what a mixer might consider their tools, or like, you know, what's allowing them to achieve the sound they're going for. And so, you know, the actual units sound really good.
And these were taken for this with the Neve 1073 preamps too. So like this is top of the line. So like literally the only difference between these signals is plug-in versus analog equivalent. So like that is a clear difference. This is way clearer of a difference to me than the drums were.
Well, yeah,
I had a hard time hearing the difference on the drums.
Well, that's what I was saying, because that was raw signals we're working with. And so when you process it, that's when you're kind of zooming in on, not even just zooming in, but it's processing a completely different one. But it brings out the harmonic frequencies in a completely different way. And so, you know, then you got to start to understand, like, okay, if I could achieve this sound or this characteristic with this sound, with this piece of equipment, then I can run it through this and this to achieve like a more clean, but like a better representation of what you're going for, essentially, right? But it comes down to like the fine tuning adjustments and like really like having a purpose for what you're doing.
And again, like, can we use all the plugins and get a great result? Of course we can.
Absolutely.
But just use it. But we will have to do a lot more editing, trial and error with the plugins. And I think the plugin, you might have to add a little top shelf EQ to like give it a little more high end boost, because I think the high end sounds more smooth on this than on the real thing than the plugin. Because I think some of the high end was lost on the plugin.
And I noticed when I boosted a lot of the highs, it was more of like a nasally, like harsher frequency.
Yep.
Where the Pultec was really smooth and like clear sounding.
The real one versus the plugin.
And yeah, I mean, Pultecs are, you know, a legendary, like, known piece of equipment to be so awesome. But, you know, awesome to test the actual unit versus the plugin and just see what the difference is there. But, you know, it comes down to adding, you know, it just knowing your application. Like, going back to the point you were making earlier, like, a point I was making earlier, I was talking about how you can approach mixing differently for different genres even, right? And so, like, some genres might utilize the sound of digital, and you can get a great mix that way as well. But then it's like, you know, you look at, like, modern metal bands, and it's like everything's sampled and triggered, and everything sounds the same.
Exactly the same.
It's sterile. Right, so like there's this
same drum samples, same guitar amp sims, same everything.
Right, so but it's not like I can't use those same approach to like fine tuning something with the actual gear. But when you use it with the actual gear, it doesn't sound like everything else.
No,
and that's for sure. There's this life added to it, and I think like, you know, you have to weigh your options. There's like, you know, one might consider that charting and, you know, going in uncharted territory. Like going with the plug-in route, but like when you really start to understand, like, you know, the characteristics and the uses of these things, it's incredible what the results can be.
So these were two very eye-opening differences. You guys, let me know in the comments which one sounds best to you. And yeah, I want to thank Zachy for giving us a little education on this. Yeah. Greg for providing his more than excellent vocal. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Sally sells seashells by the seashore so Polly can bake cupcakes by the dam while watching the best audio YouTube channel around, Chris Hamill Audio. Please support Zachy Ali. Sally sells seashells by the seashore so Polly can bake cupcakes by the dam while watching the best audio YouTube channel around, Chris Hamill Audio. Please support Zachy Ali. Sally sells seashells by the seashore so Polly can bake cupcakes by the dam while watching the best audio YouTube channel around, Chris Hamill Audio. Please support Zachy Ali. Sally sells seashells by the seashore so Polly can bake cupcakes by the dam while watching the best audio YouTube channel around, Chris Hamill Audio. Please support Zachy Ali. Sally sells seashells by the seashore so Polly can bake cupcakes by the dam while watching the best audio YouTube channel around, Chris Hamill Audio. Please support Zachy Ali.
Need to define, write your own storyline, and you need to refine who we are. Choice is us. I know you're waiting. I know you're waiting. I know you're waiting for something more. Waiting for something more. Need to define, write your own storyline, and you need to refine who we are. Choice is us. I know you're waiting. I know you're waiting. I know you're waiting for something more. Waiting for something more. Need to define, write your own storyline, and you need to refine know you're waiting for something more. Waiting for something more. Need to define, write your own storyline, and you need to refine who we are. Choice is us. I know you're waiting. I know you're waiting. I know you're waiting for something more. Waiting for something more. Need to define, write your own storyline, and you need to refine who we are. Choice is us. I know you're waiting. I know you're waiting. I know you're waiting for something more. Waiting for something more.